estimated 200,000 Louisiana residents as we advocate for good regulations, not bans on kratom products. There are many opinions about kratom, and I'm here tonight to respectfully ask that you let science drive your decisions on kratom in your parish. In 2016, under the Obama administration, the Drug Enforcement Administration told the FDA their application for scheduling kratom was insufficient. In 2018, under the Trump administration, Assistant Secretary of Health Dr. Jawal withdrew the second attempt to schedule kratom, calling it embarrassingly poor evidence and data. And in 2021, under the Biden administration, the application to the Expert Committee on Drug Dependence with the UN Commission on Narcotic Drugs to ban kratom internationally was denied because of insufficient evidence. In addition, the World Health Organization, after reviewing all of the science available today, concluded that kratom does not meet the criteria for international scheduling. Today, Secretary Becerra of the Department of Health and Human Services says there is significant knowledge gaps and we cannot proceed with a ban on kratom. He has additionally acknowledged that kratom-involved overdose deaths have occurred after use of adulterated products or taking kratom with other substances. Dr. Nora Volkow, Director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, has expressed great interest in kratom for harm reduction as well as decreasing effects of withdrawal and depression. The U.S. Congress report language on kratom states, the committee recognizes that NIH and NIDA-funded research has contributed to the continued understanding of the health impacts of kratom. The committee is aware of the potential promising results of kratom for acute and chronic pain patients who seek safer alternatives to sometimes dangerously addictive and potentially deadly prescription opioids, and of research investigating the use of kratom's constituent compounds for opioid use disorder. The committee commends NIDA for funding studies on kratom based on promising results that unadulterated kratom may provide help for some Americans struggling with addictions, giving its analgesic and less addictive properties compared to opioids. The scientific understanding of kratom has changed significantly. Research funded by the National Institute on Drug Abuse has shown that kratom has a significant harm reduction role for those who struggle with addiction and often lead to deaths. That science has informed the discussion about the safety profile of kratom. When pure, unadulterated kratom is used responsibly, it is not dangerously addictive, nor does it cause deaths. NIDA research, the FDA claims that kratom caused deaths and concluded those deaths were from polydrug use or adulterated kratom products. The problem is adulteration, and we do have to combat this to get it right. We have to protect your constituents and ensure that safe, unadulterated kratom is available. Pure kratom is not the problem. There are many adulterated kratom products on the market causing real harm, and the Kratom Consumer Protection Act is the answer to this problem. 9 states have passed the Kratom Consumer Protection Act to ban adulterated products, and just recently, this past week, Virginia and West Virginia were number 8 and number 9, and this afternoon, the KCPA was just passed in your state legislature. I just received an update on that as well. Not passed, excuse me, introduced. Additionally, the Federal Kratom Consumer Protection Act was introduced in December in the United States Senate by U.S. Senators Mike Lee of Utah and Cory Booker of New Jersey, and in the U.S. House of Representatives by Congressman Mark Pocan of Wisconsin. The Kratom Consumer Protection Act regulates kratom effectively and says kratom cannot have dangerous adulterants added to it and must adhere to the GMP standards. It will set an age limitation for sale. The products must have proper labeling, and you cannot modify the naturally occurring alkaloids to enhance or alter the effect of the plant. We are here to work with you and do the right thing. We would welcome a summit with you and your council members to develop the Kratom Consumer Protection Act for the East Feliciana Parish, or as an alternative, as you delay a vote on a ban similar to the decision in Livingston Parish, and watch the decisions made at the state level on this issue beginning next week in your upcoming legislative session. These options will continue to keep safe kratom products accessible to your constituents that truly need this life-saving program. Thank you. I'll be available for any questions.
Any comments from the public, please? We have public hearing. It's time to speak out and speak on this issue. Any comments from the jury?
I do. So you're going to have, it's going to come up in the legislature, is that correct?
Correct. The Kratom Consumer Protection Act has just been introduced this afternoon.
Okay. And they're going for the Senate or the House of Representatives?
Well, it'll have to pass through both.
Both of them. So where is it right now?
Just in the general, it'll probably land in some type of health committee to start with the House or Agriculture Board, something like that.
Who will follow the bill?
I do not know. I just received a text whenever I was sitting down, so I'm not sure who the sponsor is, but I'd be happy to get the name for you.
We have our senator here. Do you know anything, Mr. Klein Peter?
Thank y'all for having me. I was not aware I was gonna be called on this matter. Senator Klein Peter, represent District 17, all of East Feliciana, and I guess we'll be on both sides, opposite sides. So I did file a bill to ban kratom statewide in the Senate, and there are two state reps that have filed it as well in the House to ban it. So I don't know of any other state representatives or senators that I guess are in support of it. But you don't know who filed?
I'm trying to get the answer now.
Okay.
I just got up there. I'm sorry, Senator.
Is that all?
Any questions for the Senator, please?
So you filed to ban it?
I filed it. Yes. It is pretty much the legal form of heroin being sold in vape shops and in grocery stores or gas stations for 18 months. We gotta buy it. We will have a discussion on both sides to see, I'm sure that medically it is good. And if they can get it approved by the FDA, then I have it written up in my bill that medically in Louisiana it will be able to be used. But at this time, the FDA does not approve of it to be used medically.
How long will it take for it to travel through? I mean, when would we have an answer whether the state is adopted it or not?
During session.
Which,
Starts on Monday, next month,
next Monday and ends June?
June 8th.
8th.
Yes.
Won't come along to the legislature.
Yeah, once the governor signs it.
And sometime in June, we'll have an answer.
Once he signs it, yes.
Any questions? Thanks, Senator.
All right, thank you.
I'm asking Mrs. Turner to come up, because Mrs. Sponsor is from drug council.
The other thing I want to say is that there currently is 5 stores in East Feliciana Parish that's selling the kratom. And there is no age restriction. I mean, a 10-year-old could walk in and buy the pills. So there is no age restriction, on who can actually walk in and purchase it.
And my major concern is the welfare of the youth. You have enough problem with it.
Exactly.
So you look out for them, you cannot look out for themselves.
That's why the DEA refers to it as the gas station heroin, because of the side effects.
Any questions for Ms. Turner?
So if it's used medically, what is it supposed to help?
That question I can't answer. I can research it and get back to you with an answer. I'd be happy to do that. I have not heard of the parishes that have banned it. As far as I know, they never approached it from a standpoint of using it for medicinal purposes. So.
Do you know what it's made of?
It's a plant. It's grown in Southeast Asia. It can be in powder form, leaf form, where you can roll it and smoke it, pill form. It's being sold in a lot of places as a dietary supplement. And if you're interested in what it looks like, I've got some pictures here. I took these at the Main Street Market in Clinton. So they've got a whole wall. When you walk in the Main Street Market at the corner of Main Street and Clinton, the whole wall is from top to bottom, nothing but kratom. So there are 5 stores currently in the parish.
Yeah, that's just about youth violence.
Pardon me?
Doesn't prove that our youth are violent.
I have no proof. I tried to get some data to see, from an EMS standpoint, any EMS calls that came in from the parish once they got to the hospital, but I couldn't find anybody that would give me that information. So I do not have any proof that it's being bought. But the fact that the stores are carrying it and the quantities that they're carrying it in. Now, the two of the stores had very minimal amounts, but the Main Street Market store and DB's had very large amounts the last time I checked.
She had traveled, she gave the copy, that comment on this. Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Sheriff Travis, East Feliciana. I too was unprepared to speak on Kratom, but I am somewhat familiar with it. I'm in support of the bill that Senator Kleinfelder talks about banning Kratom 100%. I can tell you that I believe it's not a good substance. I think it's being abused. And our legislative committee with the Louisiana Sheriff's Association, this is a part of our legislative package this year, and we're gonna support the ban of Kratom.
Any questions for the sheriff? Chief Cox, does anything come on? No. Any more comments from the public? Any more concerns from the jury?
I think it's all about the money, to tell you the truth.
To me, it's all about our kids. I had no kids.
Well, absolutely, that first. But the companies coming in and putting that stuff all over, I mean, it's all about making the money.
That's true. And they're talking to young kids. Some of the
And
targets.
they're targeting.
Yeah.
We don't need any more stuff. There's enough of that
So
stuff.
I'm not
out there.
trying to make it a total agreement. Any more questions or concerns? If not, I call the public to a close and give it a follow. Our meeting started like 10 minutes.